Okay, thank you.
I'll bring it up.
Next on
Public
is
comment.
the code of conduct that I think we all should review and sign tonight. Last page.
For public review.
I think you all have this in the binder. It says Mercer County Board bylaws. You all have it in your binder. Okay. Okay. So does everyone have a copy of this in front of them? I guess I'd like to read through this. It says, Mercer County Board of Supervisors is committed to the highest standard of conduct in the performance of their duties. Individual and collective adherence to high ethical standards by public officials, including county board members, is central to the maintenance of public trust and confidence in government. While county board members agree on the need for proper conduct, we may experience personal conflict or differing views or loyalties. In such cases, the principles contained in this code of ethics provide a valuable guidance in reaching decisions ultimately by the dictates of the individual conscience of the board member and our committee to the public good. Certain of these ethical principles are best expressed as positive statements and actions which should be taken, courses which should be followed, goals which should permeate both public and private conduct. We express our desire to apply these principles to the day-to-day conduct of both elected and appointed officials and employees of the county government. The Mercer County Board recognizes that this code of ethics should serve as a valuable reference guide for all those in whom the public has placed its trust. As a county board member in Mercer County, I promise to administer the affairs of Mercer County impartially and fairly. I promise to promote the decisions that would benefit the public interest. I promise to actively promote public confidence in county government. I promise to keep safe all funds and other properties of the county and to be fiscally responsible in all county financial matters. I promise to conduct and perform the duties of the office diligently. I promise to promote, dispose of the business of the county, promptly dispose of the business of the county. Please excuse my reading. I promise to maintain a positive image to pass consistent public scrutiny. I promise to evaluate all decisions so that the best service or product is obtained at the minimum cost without sacrificing quality and financial responsibility. I promise to inject the prestige of the office into everyday dealings with the public, employees, and associates. I promise to maintain a respectful attitude towards employees, other public officials, colleagues, and associates. I promise to work effectively and efficiently within government agencies, and political subdivisions and other organizations in order to further the interests of the county. I promise to faithfully comply with all laws, statutes, and regulations applicable to the county and impartially to apply them to everyone. I will not engage in outside interests that are not compatible with the impartial and objective performance of my duties. I will not improperly influence or attempt to influence other officials to act in his or her own behalf. I will not accept anything of value from any source which is offered to influence my action as a public official. And I am going to sign mine right now, and I expect everybody else to sign theirs and pass them forward.
Did you do this?
This is nothing new.
That is the first day. April. Sorry.
They did not do this as,
And sign? I think that might violate some of this code ethics you're doing.
this is actually appendix D to the, county board bylaws, which has not been updated.
So you got to sign and pass forward. Thank you. 6, Thank you, Dick. Okay, between that and everybody has their manual, I think the next thing on the agenda is to go to address the board by the sheriff, Bill Clancy. What? No. Okay, personnel manual, sorry about that. We've worked diligently, the personnel committee, on new personnel manual for the county. Everybody received a copy of this email. George, do you want to make any discussion?
Not unless anybody has questions about something specific that we changed or put in there. I hope everybody's had an opportunity to read through that, so.
I had my question was centered around a professional review, and Phyllis provided that assurance to me that our carrier, who has a very good personnel lawyer, reviewed the document, and also, if I'm not mistaken, Phyllis, added a number of policies.
Yes, that are statutorily required, like
Right.
FMLA and all of those that.
So-
Updated some verbiage, some words, that just makes it comply with everything else.
I think it's been really needed. I compliment the personnel committee and Phyllis for getting this done. So did you make the motion or am I?
Dan, did you want to make a comment this also? You got to put on this?
No.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second. Moved and seconded, all in favor of approving the new Mercer County Personnel Manual? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, now we're on to the address to the board by Sheriff Bill Lansing. Bill, would you like to?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I prepared this, and I'm just going to read it to you. It says, I stand before you tonight to express my disgust with the actions of certain board members. I was appointed to serve as Sheriff of Mercer County in January 2014 to finish the term of Sheriff Thompson. I accepted this appointment with great pride because I have served the citizens of Mercer County for over 31 years in law enforcement. I'm proud to continue to serve and to lead the fine men and women who serve the Mercer County citizens on a daily basis at the Mercer County Sheriff's Office. Since taking the position as sheriff, my staff and I have worked openly with the board and have worked diligently to provide whatever the board has asked for. I personally have met with individual board members one-on-one and in groups. I nor my staff has ever misled the board or disrespected the board. The Sheriff's Office has worked hard to provide revenue for the County of Mercer and will continue to do so with minimal staffing. Please do not misunderstand what I'm trying to say. I sincerely do appreciate that most of the board members here serve Mercer County with good intentions, and no matter what, they try to do their best to make wise decisions that affect not only the people they represent today, but for the future as well. We at the Mercer County Sheriff's Office are truly thankful for those board members who are here to serve this county and make a positive difference. Those board members who continue to strive to do the right thing do not go unnoticed, and I thank you for that. But due to recent actions by certain board members, I have become appalled with certain board members who have felt the need to attack my employees on a personal level with no regard for my employees or their families. These employees have served the citizens of Mercer County on a daily basis, putting their lives on the line every day to ensure the safety of the citizens. I am offended and disgraced that certain board members have taken this path for political reasons. In closing, I am proud of the dedicated men and women at the Mercer County Sheriff's Office who come to work, do their job, and put their lives on the line each day. To serve and protect is what our department does 24/7, 365 days a year for its citizens, and I will no longer be a party to personal attacks against my employees for political reasons. Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is law enforcement. Mr. Howard?
And the law enforcement report is in your binder.
have a motion to approve the report for, I'll make the motion. Is that second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this report?
Yeah. You know, we just signed the code of ethics again, and I will be discussing some things in the Open Meeting Act. But it's become apparent to not only myself, but a lot of members in this community, that there are secretive meetings going on. And one of them would be when Mr. Anseeuw ended up going to law enforcement for no apparent reason other than to bring up personnel matters. As far as I'm concerned, we have a personnel committee right here. I'm a part of it, you're a part of it, George is a part of it. If the sheriff or anybody in this organization has an issue with personnel, it should be dealt with in-house by their supervisor. If they feel they cannot handle it, then they need to bring it before the personnel committee. I haven't seen that. All I've seen so far is personal attacks on people, and it's going to stop, period.
Okay.
That's all I need to say.
Mr. Howard?
I have a comment. I'm assuming that, Dan, you make that in reference to, that during the law enforcement meeting, I moved the public, I'm not sure why you're making it. I did move the public, rearrange the public comment, ahead of claims, and the only reason that I did that is because it takes a while to get through those claims, and I don't see the point in making people who come to the meeting sit there and wait for their public comment until we get through the claims.
The problem with moving public comment is that some of the members of the public may come later, at a later time and during the meeting, waiting for the other business to be taken care of, and then they don't have a chance to talk. We have agendas, the agendas are presented, and the agendas should be followed in order. And that's not the only comment. I heard other people telling me that, you know, when somebody comes in here and they're reading right off of a card, and members of the certain people are looking toward him and saying, yeah, that's what we want you to say. Come on, there's meetings going on here, and we're not following the Open Meeting Act. We need to get on it. I mean, if we need to get,
The comment about the cards, I have no clue what you're talking about.
well, it was brought to my attention, I witnessed it.
I have no clue what you're talking about. Didn't happen in my meeting. I can tell you that.
It happened at the last county board meeting, that was a special meeting.
Okay, not in my meeting. Okay,
Any more,
now,
Chairman, I'm done.
and
Which one?
it is not in violation of the Open Meetings Act to rearrange agenda.
Yeah.
And I brought it with me right here. We can respond, okay.
Yeah,
So,
that was,
so if I violated something, by all
I think
means
you're talking about the
chastise
law
me, kick me,
enforcement
whatever. But there were no open meetings violations. Probably there, maybe you, Dan, but there's probably nobody in here that's read this thing through as many times as I have. And you can tell because it's, the pertinent stuff is highlighted, okay? So I know the Opens Meeting Act. And I'm not gonna purposely violate the Opens Meeting Act. I don't do that. My parents taught me to play by the rules. The Army taught me to play by the rules. I play by the rules. That's the way it's done. So, I don't know what it is you're talking about. I mean, you brought this up during law enforcement. I'm assuming you meant it was during law enforcement.
One of them was.
I mean, I would entertain that.
I was present during that meeting, and I would just like to bring up that there was something that was brought up during that meeting that should not have been there. And that was ethics over a particular thing that had happened a long time ago that was not illegal, but it was still brought up during that meeting. And that is going against law.
No, it doesn't. It does not.
How's that?
In the Opens Meeting Act, nowhere in there does it say that there's any one thing that has to go into closed session. It always says may.
Why didn't it go to the proper channels first?
And let me finish my answer.
Go ahead.
And the question that was asked by Dr. Anseeuw was a generic question, absolutely no names mentioned or fingers pointed. Generic, strictly generic. and it was directed towards the sheriff. If the sheriff didn't want to, nobody forced him to answer. If the sheriff didn't want to answer that question, he could have just said, I'm not going to answer that, and that's fine.
Right.
He asked us purely generic question, no names, no finger pointing. I don't see how that violates any rule or the Open Meeting Act. If it does, please show me.
I'm gonna ask a simple question. Since when is this county board in charge of operating and dictating what goes on in law enforcement? We don't go over there to the highway department and dictate and criticize his employees and sit there and nitpick. It's not our job. We've got county business to take care of. We need to be looking at an administrator. We need to be looking at some of these tax records where taxes have been written off for certain people and nobody's paying their taxes on that, on certain properties, and we're letting that go, and we're sitting here and we're like, oh, the jail's not doing this, the jail's not doing that. How about everybody start paying their fair share of taxes, and we start looking and getting off this jail issue and get on with the business that we need to be dealing with, instead of trying to dictate personnel.
Is that a question for me?
No, I'm just making a comment.
The purpose of the committee, any committee, I'm going to tell you, there's some people on this committee that don't really understand the purpose of the committee that they're on. The purpose of a committee is to do two things: research and recommend to the board courses of action that are brought up during that committee or during those reports. That is our function. I understand that, okay?
I agree with
And it sounds to me like what we're saying is, especially when it comes to the sheriff's department, you're not allowed to ask questions. Their business is their business and you leave it alone.
When it comes to the personnel, it needs to be brought up to the personnel committee. I have never heard any issue.
I haven't heard a personnel issue brought up in the law enforcement committee. Not unless the sheriff brought it up. And once he brings it up, I can ask any question that I want.
I believe it was brought up at the last board meeting and we had to get people to shut up. Basically, in a nutshell.
Okay, leave this alone. Anybody else have a comment before we,
Taking away First Amendment rights.
Gary?
Thank you
did
for
have a
that.
comment, or? I'm sorry. Were you wanting to say something more?
No, all I'm saying is, that, I didn't think that anything should have been brought up, whether names were mentioned or anything like that. Everything, let's keep it on the down low. I mean, if we got a problem, let's go through the proper channels first. Before we make any insinuations, any accusations. If somebody did something illegal, yeah, we wanna know about it, but if they got, a problem, or a problem is made of somebody not doing something exactly right, all of us have failed and made mistakes, but it's how we handle mistakes. We keep bringing it up, hammering, we're going nowhere. We're going absolutely nowhere, and that's when you start losing the base of the very employees that you say that you really want to affect. That they've affected you, and you want to affect them on a positive point, not on a negative. Let's get away from it. I think that's what we have to do as a board.
Okay, do we have any more discussion?
I just wonder if it's time, this is like the fourth meeting in a row. I just wonder if it's time to change chairpersons, and I know we've discussed it, I think.
Yeah, county bridge.
You're a good person, George, but I'm losing confidence in you.
What's that?
You're a good person, but I'm losing confidence in what you're bringing me to act on, and I'm not gonna say anything. I just wish you, under the situation that you're in, I personally feel if there's a conflict there, and I wish you would, for the good of the board, would back out, let someone else take that chair position.
Clarify what the conflict is. I hear that being thrown around all the time. Nobody comes up with a specific incident about what the what the conflict of interest is.
You know, if you don't know, then you don't, and I can tell.
Oh, my goodness. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Can we vote on this issue? or-
How spineless can you be?
Then I guess
Question's been
Dave
called.
Staley better resign.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's point.
First and second is, seeing no more discussion, all in favor?
What question?
We're approving the minutes
Oh,
of the law enforcement committee
okay.
meeting. Yeah, I realize. Yeah. All in favor of approval of the minutes of the March twenty-sixth law enforcement committee meeting? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes passed. On transportation. Jimmy, do you want any, let's approve the minutes of the March, I make a motion to approve the minutes of the March twenty-sixth, 2014 highway committee meeting. Been moved and second, all in favor, any discussion on the minutes of the March twenty-sixth highway committee meeting? Seeing none. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.